Before I start the video, I would like to give a massive shout out to my Patreons who have been supporting my channel. If you would like to check out my Patreon and receive early access to some very exciting videos coming soon, then please click the link in the description below. Hello there everyone and welcome to the final episode of the first series of the Just a Nerd podcast, and I've had to save the best till last, and the guest who I'm honoured to have today, if you'd just like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm very honored to be the final guest. My name is Meg Shirley. I'm best known for Megan Williams in the DW 2012 Top 2 Fandom series. Probably the
Wow.
best way to describe myself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, to be fair. So, Meg, it is lovely to have you here today to talk about Doctor Who, DW 2012, and just a few other nerdy things. So, let's start off strong. When did you first become a fan of Doctor Who?
My answer is probably a lot of people's answers as well. So when it first came back, so the revival back in 2005, I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
Um, and my dad, I think he used to watch Doctor Who like in the classic era.
Mhm.
Um, And then I remember him talking about it coming back, and I had no clue what it was. And then it's actually I just sat down, watched Rose, obviously the first episode of series one when it came back. Um, yeah, watched it with my dad and my two sisters. I was absolutely scared. I'd never used to, um, literally the whole generic hiding behind the sofa thing. That was me when I was a kid. I remember watching The Unquiet Dead. I refused to watch that episode. I literally ran away and I did not watch it. And I didn't watch it until like a few years later. And then the end of the world, literally right at the start that's episode two, right at
Yeah.
the start, um, where that guy just comes on the screen that's got like a blue face. I literally looked at it and I was like, nope, and then literally ran and then did not watch it. Um, and I used to just sort of sit. I used to like dip in and out of it. I used to love the show. But yeah, I used to be really scared. But no, very, very first episode.
So, when did the show become a little less scary for you then? Was it a few years later entirely, or did it still frighten you into your later years?
I guess I remember Blink scaring the hell out of me. Um, I don't really know what point it was, to be honest. I think there's a point where you kind of realize that, I mean, you get enjoyment out of it because of the characters and everything like that. And you appreciate kind of the whole production side of it. But I guess that kind of came later on though. But like I've been a fan of it ever since the start. And there's always elements of it being like scary and creepy and stuff. But just maybe when I grew up a little bit in my teens, that's about, well, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be scared of that anymore. If I was scared, I probably wouldn't say I was, you know.
Yeah, that's completely fair. So, out of your younger years, then, what was the episode that scared you the most? Where you were like, I don't know, needing to sleep with a light on or something?
The Empty Child.
The Empty Child. Yeah, that's fair.
Oh no, it's just the bit where um is it like the doctor guy in it, like the scientisty kind of guy, when like turns into the no, it still freaks me out. I remember there used to be this like museum. So I was a kid, my dad used to drag me to go watch football matches. I'm not really that much of a fan now, but like there used to be this like museum we always used to walk past whenever we went. And then the and I remember being like, "Can we go to that museum at one time?" Then he took me, and they had these like gas masks, this bit in it where you got to, I think they had like World War II section in there, and they had this bit where you could try on like masks and stuff, and they had a gas mask there, and I would not put that thing on, and it looked the exact in my head, it was the exact one. It probably wasn't, but I was like, I'm not putting on. That scared me. Yeah, that episode, 100%.
I can completely understand why. And to be fair, I think the episode for me that frightened me when I was younger would have been Blink, because I remember going to the local garden centre and seeing the statues, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just the bit in Blink when obviously when they're all surrounded the phone box, that bit. Oh no, that episode did scare me. I think I still was young back then. Probably between those two episodes.
Again,
Yeah.
some really good horror imagery in those episodes, and
Mm.
I feel like that's where the show is kind of at its best, where it's got you behind the sofa, and like you said, the Unquiet Dead is a good example as well, and I feel like people don't bring that up often.
Yeah, I think on rewatch, like it's not really that scary now when you rewatch it, but just the whole element of whole the dead being alive, and it's all to do with like spirits and stuff like that, which yeah, still freaks me out. The concept of like paranormal stuff still freaks me out now. So that's why I probably didn't like it that much. Yeah, as a little 7 year old, you're like, you don't want to expose yourself to that.
Yeah, of course, and it clearly did frighten you at one point, but obviously not too much because you're still a fan of the show now, Meg. And I'm curious to know, after the many years of being a fan, do you have any standout episodes that have become a favorite of yours?
My ultimate favorite episode, Doctor Who, is Turn Left.
Okay.
I could rewatch that episode. In fact, I have like a million times. It's just very standalone. I just love the element of the whole what if, like,
Yeah.
and because the series was so established, and you saw all the events over series four and all the events of obviously the Tenant era and all that before that, and then yeah, you just get to that episode and you see like, oh, but what if this happened or if it went that way? The whole element of it, and I just loved the whole seeing the companions kind of work together as well. Like Rose was like my favorite companion up until that episode, and obviously I love Donna as well. So sort of seeing them kind of interact, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. I was like, oh my god, Rose is back, because the whole tease with Rose coming back, and then she came back, and then yeah, I was living my best life watching that episode. I just and it's one of them episodes that you don't really appreciate it as well
Mm,
until you're older.
yeah.
Like I remember rewatching it a few years ago, and I was like, oh my god, I understand every single thing in this episode, and this is dark.
Yeah, it's a
Like it's
very dark
really dark,
episode.
and like that sort of stuff just goes over your head as like a kid. But like that's what Russell was really good at, writing stuff like that, and then like yeah, the concentration camp bit, the whole, and then like all the you know it's just dark. Yeah,
Yeah, it
but
is.
it's a really really cool episode. I think because I'm a big fan of like Black Mirror and that type of like stuff. Which is
Yeah.
also kind of like a what if, like an alternative kind of realities or whatnot. And yeah, sort of seeing what could have happened, even if it's like an extreme example, is yeah, really good.
Yeah, and that's something that Russell's era of Doctor Who was kind of based around. It was very character driven and was pretty much soaked in reality. It was borderline soap opera at times, but I feel like that's where it worked at its best. And
Yeah,
just imagine with the new era, you could potentially see like something like Turn Left 2.0, really, and that would be exciting.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that would certainly be cool. Are there any other episodes that spring to mind that you see as highlights of your time being a fan?
I love the entirety of Series 5, like the
Yeah, that's
whole.
fair.
It's probably my favorite series, and I love Series 4. 4 and 5 are like my favorites. Um, love the 11th hour. I'll tell you what episode I do like, because I know Series 6, people don't really like Series 6 that much. I love Series 6. But the opening two-parter of Series 6 is probably one of the most rewatched episodes, apart from Turn Left. I can't really explain why. I don't know, maybe just the scale of it, because I love Amy Pond's character.
Yeah.
That it was like Day of the Moon is like I could literally watch the episode and like mouth every single word because I've watched it that much. I don't know. That to me, that two-parter, I absolutely love. And I like the silence as a villain as well. I think they're really like really clever concept of them. Um yeah, the whole of series 5, there is no episode in there that I don't like. I could just sit and watch the whole series of that.
That's good. No, that's
Yeah.
lovely to hear, and like especially like a series that you find where there's no duds or anything, and you can happily rewatch it. Especially like that in, was it 2010 originally?
Yeah,
So, the fact that it still holds up to that for you now and countless others as well, it's really good to hear. It is
yeah.
really good to hear.
I do like the whole TARDIS team of obviously the Doctor, Amy, and then when Rory joined, and I did like the whole with River as well, so like the four of them.
Yeah.
I did like obviously I liked when we had just obviously Matt and Karen in series 5 and that whole split of it. But yeah, I don't know. To me, they're like I don't know, perfect TARDIS team. I don't know, just really enjoyable to watch.
Well,
Yeah,
I think it's the dynamic as well because yeah, you started off with just the 11th Doctor and Amy, and then Rory came into it in a bit of an awkward way, died a couple times, and
yeah,
then you had the whole River Song mystery as well. And whilst yeah, I do feel like yeah, some criticisms of Series 6 were valid, but the whole dynamic was it's still a highlight, and the way each actor kind of bounces off each other, it's really a highlight throughout.
yeah. I do. I understand the criticism of Series 6 because I know like the second part does not hold up to the first.
Yeah.
You can really see the series kind of like go down and stuff like that. But and I think with the whole River storyline, it was pretty much leaked or people guessed what who River was. I
Yeah.
mean, they kind of made it. They didn't make it pretty obvious, but it was kind of like you saw it coming. But like I did, I quite liked. I liked that it was something you did see coming because it wasn't just something random that didn't make sense or kind of you didn't really see coming. You're like, oh, could it be? And then it actually was. You're like, oh, but it's still a really strange dynamic. But
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's because I really like Amy Rory's character. I was like, oh, it's so cute. Oh my God. But no, I just love how clever it all was, how he kind of breadcrumbed it. And I do like River Song as well. I like River Song's character.
No, that's really awesome to hear. Especially like with that era, it clearly means a lot to you, especially with the characters. And with certain characters, Meg, I do know that you've ended up cosplaying as, and you've been involved with the cosplay scene. So, what first of all, what got you into cosplaying in the first place?
I think I got into cosplay when it was towards the end of being in school, like when I went to my first Comic Con, my first ever outfit I did was a soothsayer,
Oh, okay.
Liza Pompeii. Um, remember I went to a convention with a friend, and then on one day we did that. Because Karen Gillan was meant to be going before she cancelled.
Oh,
Um, and then Caitlin Blackwood was there. Catherine Tate was there. So I think that's why we're like, oh, because Catherine Tate and then Karen Gillan were in Fires of Pompeii. Let's do the soothsayers. Um, so that, and then also my first like, I used to do Clara cosplay like religiously and collect all like the cosplays and everything like that. All of which I've still got. But and it was the 50th outfit that I did first. I think it kind of just came with like it was around that time that I kind of joined Twitter as well, and
yeah.
like the whole sort of fan girl community, that sort of thing. Um, and just sort of seeing people like IDing outfits and kind of people cosplaying, actually surrounding myself with. I was like, well, there's a bigger bubble of fans out there rather than just people who I go to school with or people who I know. So it's just kind of like, wow, these people exist, and now I can do this. So yeah, I think it kind of just all sort of happened at the right time, I suppose. Yeah.
That's really cool to hear that that with the cosplay scene, obviously that also tied into when you first started going into conventions, and I know that you've been to a fair few. So I've got to ask, out of all the cosplays that you've done, because you've listed a few there, what's been your favorite one to do and why?
Ace.
Ace. That is
Ace.
Ace.
100%. Um, I think because I love Ace as a character. She's one of my
Yeah,
favorite like companions, and she just I don't know. She just looks cool, and she's badass.
she is badass. Yeah,
And I like her jacket as well. And like I remember when I decided to do the cosplay, it's not just something that you kind of buy. It's kind of like you make it and
yeah.
you sort of collect it. So it's quite an achievement to kind of collect the different things. Plus, I as a kid, I managed to get a Blue Peter badge by writing a poem.
Oh, nice.
Um, I did it when I didn't win the Love and Monsters competition. Sad times. I basically copied a Slovene and sent it in, thinking I'd win. When I didn't win that, I was like, I'm gonna get a badge. If I don't win anything, I'm gonna get a badge. And I wrote a poem. So I had this blue Peter badge. And I was like, oh, I can actually have that on the cosplay as
Yeah.
well, because I know she has one. And then I think it's kind of once you start getting all the pins, you want to like complete it. So like I'm proud of the cosplay. It looks cool. And then she has different variants and stuff as well. And when she was back in Power of the Doctor, I was so happy because I was like, new Ace outfit. I was like, so you get like the suit and whatnot, but she had pins on as well, which is good. And they also had the jacket. It's just the jacket. Love the jacket.
Yeah, the jacket is
Um,
badass.
I do. Um, I've done like Time of Angels, Amy Pond as well, which is
Yeah.
one of her favorite outfits. It's kind of iconic 'cause it's kind of felt like her first outfit, sort of. Um, that was like the first episode she sort of filmed for. I remember seeing like on set photos of that outfit and really wanting that hoodie. And then I remember back in 2010. Wait, yeah, that must have been my first. That was my first ever cosplay thing I bought was the hoodie because I managed to find it online, and then obviously it was very oversized. It was horrendously big for me, so I got it, and then my mom was like, "You're not keeping that. That doesn't fit." So we sold it, and then I never had it, and then I always regretted selling it. And then Luke literally bought it for me 3 years back, and I was like, "Oh my God, coming back." So yeah,
Finally
that
got it again.
had a bit of meaning for me, meaning for me, 'cause it, came back into my life, which is nice.
Ah, so with the cosplaying, you've done a few characters from the show that you've obviously enjoyed. Are there any cosplays that you want to do in the future, maybe that you haven't explored yet?
Oh, like Doctor Who, or I don't know. I've always liked, I don't know, I always like Rose's outfits.
Yeah.
It's never, I don't know, it's never something that I'm really like I've looked into in terms of I've always liked Rose's outfits. Um, I did want to cosplay the 13th Doctor, and then basically kind of just happened that people I knew had loads of different things. So I managed to sort of do it as a bar stuff and do it as a convention once, which was good. I'll have to see. I'd like to. I don't like the 14th Doctor's outfit. I really do like. I don't know
It's,
whether I don't know. Let's see if I have the confidence for it to do it a con. That would be cool.
yeah, that
Maybe
certainly
that.
would. Yeah, that certainly would be cool. Would you wear any of Shooty's outfits?
I've got the yellow jump, the orange jumper.
Yeah,
That's a start.
getting there.
Okay, so I wear that all the time, and I'm like, yeah, shoot, it's jumper. But so to me, it's cosplay. No one else obviously really knows it's cosplay unless they know what the jumper is. But to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing cosplay. Um, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know, people that are watching or listening. You might see Meg around a Comic Con dressed as the 15th Doctor. You never know. Well, let's move on to something else that you're known for, and that is your role as Megan Williams in the DW 2012 fan series. And I'm curious to know, Meg, how did you get involved with the fan series?
Okay. So I met Luke.
Yeah.
We went on a first date. Um, and yeah, no, we spent like the whole afternoon together. We had a meal together. We spent the whole afternoon together. He was basically telling me all about um everything he does. He told me about the fan series, really trying to make it sound like an amazing, cool thing, and then like talking to me about it. And then he said to me, um, he saw me, I think I had to go buy an anniversary present for my parents, I think, on that day. I think it was. We were in like a shop and he saw me like cross my arms like this, and he went, and then a couple of days after it, he basically asked me if I wanted to be a companion in the series. Um, and then I had to basically look it up. And then I realized I'd literally sort of I'd seen it on YouTube like before, but I'd never really clicked on it. I used and like it was not something I kind of really appreciated or kind of watched back then in terms of fan films. I probably would have rolled my eyes and be like, "What is this? What is this? Someone doing in their time?" And he, yeah, and he asked me to be in it, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And I didn't really know what to expect or how the film was going to be. Then he just sent me a script, and I've always, which was Reflection, the first episode that I've been in. Technically, our second date was filming for the series, and I
How
kind of
very
just,
romantic.
I know, right? And then I'm like, that things are kind of just stuck. And here I am 8 years later. But yeah, no, I didn't really know what to expect when we first did it, when I was first filming. I'd always been interested in like acting since I was younger.
Yeah.
That's why I sort of chose to do it at, like in school, and then I wanted to take it further. But I was never that good, slash, never really had the confidence for it. And I idolized um Karen Gillan, the name Bond, growing up, and I was like, I want to be you. I want to be you. You're so cool. And and it was basically to do with that. And then so when you have someone go, "Hey, I have this series, you can be like a companion," I was like, "That's cool. Yes, I will. That sounds like a really cool thing." And then yeah, and then I sort of progressed over time. I'd like to think my acting's got a bit better than it was because every single like shoot I'd be like smiling or laughing, and yeah, no, it makes you cringe. But it was really fun. It's a load of fun. No, that's how I kind of came into it. I think Luke says to me as well that the first time he took me onto the TARDIS set, he said I was the least impressed person he has ever done. I think,
Oh, really?
oh, cool. Because I don't know, but I think he likes to show off like the whole TARDIS set, which is obviously what we use for the series. And it is a cool thing to kind of have it in the back garden. The whole box and everything looks really cool. And then remember him just being like, "This is it," and I'd be like, "Oh, right." I think I was just bewildered more than anything. Um, yeah, that's what he says. I was like, "No, I didn't think it was cool. I don't know. I was probably acting all like trying to act cool at the time. Yeah, yeah, cool, yeah." Inside, I was like, "Oh my God."
So with so you joined on was it series 3 that you came into the fold? So
Yeah, episode 4.
episode
So it's
4.
2015. Yeah, it was.
Blimey. So within all that time, obviously the character of Meg has been through a lot, with the doctor that she grew to be close to, ended up regenerating and stuff like that. How do you feel like the character has evolved over time?
So much. Um, God, it's kind of been a character that's kind of evolved as we've been sort of writing. As she came in as this almost kind of a apprentice to this professor who worked in this kind of haunted house, and they're hunting ghosts and things like that. And then as we were writing the stuff and we got into the next series, then we started looking at her like backstory and where she kind of came from.
Yeah.
Because um the episode Blood Ties in series 4, I remember asking Luke if I could write an episode.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I wrote for series 4. And because I wanted to basically give my character a bit of like backstory, or sort of like of, you know, who she is, where she came from, and just kind of explore it a bit more. Because I think it was then where she was kind of being more sort of established, and we're thinking out kind of her journey essentially.
Yeah.
Because the episodes back then we used to kind of film it, release like on a really sort of quick basis and whatnot, and they're like really fun to do. And now as we're sort of developing kind of like filmmaking and whatnot, these things we are planning and write like planning to write these things and kind of taking more time with it because it takes longer to film. Um, so he had these big plans in terms of what's happening in the whole series. But my character kind of within it has developed kind of as it's gone. So she kind of started with this kind of apprentice character, um, hunting, essentially hunting the paranormal, and sort of turned into kind of her own person. And she's kind of gone through a massive journey of loads of stuff that's kind of happened to her. And you do get like attached to these characters because I've played it since 2015. So it's like as long as me and Luke have been together, so 8 years, and you sort of you kind of think like them in a way, like
Yeah.
when you sort of know them inside out. You know what their favorite food is, kind of what they like doing and stuff like that, because they're kind of like a part of you. I play Meg kind of, she's like myself, but she's also kind of a more confident version of myself, I suppose. I don't know, you just kind of have fun with it. But I know her character has gone evolved so much in the series that it's been, and I've been able to like, in terms of acting, like challenge myself in terms of performances and stuff, and get to, you know, do things that I never thought I probably would be able to, or sort of explore, and then actually, because I used to struggle with like acting, like shouting or like crying or things like that, and getting the confidence kind of actually like perform it, and it's kind of helped me, yeah, giving me chance to sort of evolve in that as well, which has been really cool. Yeah,
Oh no, that's really cool to hear the journey that Meg has gone on over the years, and in a mini journey of itself as well. Series 5, which has recently finished wrapping, and I'm curious to know, Meg, from your perspective. I've already heard Luke's and Dom's, but Series 5, yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, to get it out. There's been a lot of changes, but how do you feel now that Series 5 is in the can and that the final two episodes are just around the corner?
you know what? I'm kind of sad.
Oh, okay.
Um, it's we didn't expect it to take like 5 years,
Yeah.
but in within that, we've been able to kind of perfect it, I guess. I don't know, just change and kind of things. The ideas have changed so much since the start. We've gone through like a change, like different cameras to like different like upgrade equipment, stuff like that, and in terms of storylines and kind of the whole idea of what was going to happen in the series. Um, because Luke always sort of he has these ideas. I always say to him like, "You don't want to write these down." He's like, "No," and he keeps them all up in his head. He's like, "No, there's still the fear," and he doesn't forget. He does not forget.
Fair play to
And
him. Fair play.
the time where he comes back from work or just randomly, he's like, "I've had this idea," and then he just sit there and he just tell me. He kind of like, I'm kind of the person who kind of runs ideas off,
Yeah.
um, and sort of asks what I think, or tells me this is what he's going to do, or things are going to change. How about we do this? So that and sort of seeing like things have grown from like the idea to kind of to a script, actually filming it and seeing it is kind of it's I still find it a bit strange, and also it's like an achievement as well. And a lot's happened in 5 years
Really has.
since starting. And I look at the start of series 5, episode 1, and I'm like, I look so young. This is like 2019, or I think, yeah, 2019. I'm like, like things have changed so much. There's been a pandemic. I I don't know. I grew up, and I mean, like, like engaged, and I bought a house in that time. I never ever would have thought, like, when I started series 5, or even when I started the series, that at the end of it I would be in the position that I am now.
Yeah.
Really strange. And it's sort of, in terms of like acting and stuff, it's helped me kind of get involved in other projects and different things I've kind of done, which has been really cool as well. And yeah, it's and it feels strange. It's kind of all coming to an end because you're so used to the whole like plan of pretty much every weekend you're filming, or so literally every single day we're talking about this thing because Luke's sitting here and he's editing the series. Um, and I sort of assist with things like that, and I assist with shoots, even like ones I'm not in. Um, because it takes a lot of planning and a lot of
Yeah.
commitment. so I'm sort of aware of every single thing that's kind of going on with it, and it's you're so used to meeting these people, like seeing people every week, working with Dom or literally anyone else, sort of, and then it's like, oh wow, we're actually coming to an end, and it's like, how have we actually? And you kind of look back, it's like, how have we actually done all this? Like you sort of, I sometimes watch scenes when Luke says it, and I'm like, I don't remember filming that. Like, forget, and I'm sitting there going like, I do not remember this. Or the certain bits in the script, I'm like, we haven't got that. He's like, we do. Look, and I'm like, when was that? And you just like the certain things that stand out.
Yeah,
But it's a strange. I'm kind of sad because it's a big achievement, but you always look forward to the next episode coming out. There's
of
always
course.
scenes that you've done that you're proud of, or you can't wait to kind of see. You don't know how the final edit's going to be, so like when it comes out and then time goes by, it's like, oh, it's actually over. What are we going to do now? And you just move on to like the next project or the next thing. But no, this whole I'm quite proud of Series 5 and like the journey it's took and obviously all the characters and things like that. And it just feels I'm quite sad that it comes to an end. I know for Luke it's probably a relief to sort of be like, oh, tick, it's done, we got there, it's like an achievement, which it is, but it is sad because no, I've really enjoyed really enjoyed doing it, but I am looking forward to kind of being able to see it in the entirety, like there and done, which will be big
Yeah,
achievement. Yeah.
yeah, certainly, certainly. And with all of that stuff being wrapped up, there was obviously a course for celebration, and there was a certain rap party that happened. So what was
Oh
it
yeah,
like getting that all
eventually.
organized?
I knew you were gonna mention. I said to Luke, and I went, I said when Jack's gonna send over like what he wants to ask on the podcast, I went, Bet's gonna mention the rap part.
Oh, it had to be brought up.
um, yeah, I said to Luke, we're having a rap party. Like this, we need to celebrate this achievement. And he would not let me organize it until we had planned that very last action of
Yeah.
like that last scene. He's like, when we do that, then you can plan it. And I'm like, the year's getting on. It's going to be like December by the time we organize this. And I was like, can we just look? He's like, no, not yet, not yet. And then when we finally was able to arrange it, and I was like, okay, let's finally do this. It's actually all I thought about for like a month. I was really looking forward to it. And no, it was nice to sort of get everyone in the same. It's not off, you plan shoots and you see people at different times because of different like commitments and things like that. And it was nice to sort of get everyone as best they could, other than the rail strikes that they decided to throw on us. And I tried my
Yeah.
best to avoid it. And I was like, well, there won't be strikes this weekend. Strikes. I was like, great. Um, but no, it was nice just to have everyone here. It'd be like we've all been a part of this in, different ways. And just sort of, yeah, be able to be like, we did it. It's cool. Yeah. Um, yeah. And also, how to mention this? Probably to do with the trailer of what's coming up next that Luke shared with everyone, um, which will be coming out soon
Soon.
because of the 60th. So it was and it was quite exciting just to sort of have live reactions of people seeing the trailer for the 60th that we're
It-
gonna be releasing. That's nice.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
we're gonna have
exciting to
another one.
see that.
And you got to see yourself on screen as well.
I know it was a bit of breaking the fourth wall there, but yeah, it was really cool to see like scenes that I recorded. It was a few months before watching that, and kind of like what you were saying. I was like, blimey, but, like I don't actually remember saying some of that stuff.
Yeah, I remember there's someone who was in the series, like one of my friends who kind of just played like a character like sort of like a backgrounded character in one of the episodes coming up. And they're like, oh, when's this gonna wear? And I basically said blah blah blah, which would have been in the future. And they were like, wait, it's that far away? And I was like, that isn't even that far away. Like, if you're talking about the 60th or whatever. And I was like, isn't that fun? They'll think, I don't know if they thought it would be coming out like the next week or something. I was like, nah, this comes out in like 6 months' time.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, I
These
say
are
with some projects it takes
so
longer.
but the rap party was fun and karaoke was fun as well, which I'm sure
Yeah.
you want to mention.
Yes, the karaoke was something. Yes.
Especially your rendition of Justin Bieber.
Yeah, it's always a go-to for me when I've had a drink and there's a mention of karaoke. I always have to pull up the most well-known and well-received songs in the world.
Is that like your karaoke song? Is it always
Yeah, well, one of the go-tos. I've done Justin Bieber Baby. I've done It's Raining Men. Amongst a few. Oh, the YMCA as well. I've done that. Even the
no?
dance. So yeah.
Mine's it's always Super Bass by Nicki Minaj.
Well, it was a
Whenever we do karaoke, I'm like, that song, put that song on. Um yeah, no, it was fun. I just loved how you went from, oh yeah, I hope your version of Justin Bieber Baby never hits the light of day, and then Troy's like, was it Matt who recorded it? It's like, here,
I actually have no idea.
I just send it to him, and then it just you're like, I might as well live up to this.
Yeah.
Share this. It was great.
Yeah, because of, I was a little bit under the influence. I didn't clock that I was being recorded. So I was like, that's why
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, glad that's not going to see the light of day. And then lo and behold, it's out there. So I may as well just be like, yeah, that's what I get up to.
we love Drunken Ten.
Yeah, drunken den. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, it's
Ah,
good. And
yeah.
also we had that champagne toast, which was very generous of you.
It was a good thing to celebrate, because like as we've been saying, it's been a long journey, and it's good to finally celebrate the end.
Yeah. And also, yeah, I had the cake made with like the logo on it, which when I picked it up, I was like, oh, this is cool. I was like, babe, look at the cake. And then when everyone turned up, I was like, look at the cake.
Yeah, it was a really delicious cake as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was literally everyone was going home. I was like, take cake, and I made everyone take it. I made Troy take some for his mom, um, and then Matt take some for his parents as well. I was like, hey,
Oh,
how many
that's,
compliments? It was good.
it was a really good time, and again, it was really good to celebrate. You guys wrapping up on everything. But Meg, before we move on to the hot and spicy debate question, I want to ask you what has been some of your favorite moments from filming for DW 2012?
Moments. Every time an episode comes out, it's like my new favorite.
Okay.
Um, but the episode, right? So the episode that just come out, which is Flatmates,
Yeah.
um, which is series 5, episode 6.
Yeah.
The one we filmed in Blackpool. That was the one that I was most anticipated to come out since essentially starting the series. Um, I was very nervous of it for many reasons, but then also because we filmed it in Blackpool, and it was nice to be able to. It's always fun when you have filming weekends away from the local area, away from like the back garden with the TARDIS, or just doing something new. And we thought we were going to film, we are only going to go there once. We ended up going back 4 times, 5 times, and we used Blackpool for like the finale with like the sand dunes and stuff as well,
Yeah.
loads of different stuff. But the it was just nice to kind of being able to sort of go and try and make a sort of a holiday out of it rather than just filming, because I know filming takes always takes longer than you think, because of the weather, or you forget a prop, or camera issues, or just because the scene takes longer than you think for certain
Yeah.
reasons. Um, which is probably, I think, why we ended up going back, or we just weren't happy with certain things, or script changes or anything like that. So it was just, yeah, and Blackpool's quite nostalgic. So all she just goes a kid. And then me and Luke went on a holiday there, and he was like, "Oh, we should film and set an episode there." And I think that was the most anticipated because it was one of the most experimental and kind of darker episodes as well that we did.
Yeah, certainly.
We covered like loads of different topics, and we had loads of different storylines going on in one episode. People had their own personal storyline. Like you have sort of the Doctor on his own journey of never feeling good enough, or um, losing loads of things in such a short amount of time and not being able to cope with it. Um, then you had like Tommy, who was trying to live up to his name of being like a Benton because of his granddad being Sergeant Benton and that sort of thing. And then like Meg just going on her own journey of like trust and to sort of let go and you know trusting someone. And then she ended up getting with Tommy, which was I was nervous about being released, but I was quite proud of it. So I was quite it went down really well as well.
Yeah.
And it's no, it's that episode is probably the most yeah, it was most anticipated when that came out. And I was like, it was also the one which was so far away. It was always the Blackpool episode. It was always like a million miles away. I remember we were stuck on episode 2 for such a long time being released.
Yeah.
And it's like, hang on. It's whenever we got to like the next episode being out and there'd be an extra on trailer, and I was like, hang on, this is getting closer and closer. And like I didn't think it would actually come out. It's just mad. That and Time Loop as well,
Yeah, Time Loop was a good one.
which I think they're my two favorites, just because I think they're very different and kind of more experimental, and they're just fun.
Yeah.
That's more sort of favorite episodes, not moments, but there's lots of good moments within filming.
Yeah,
I
of
don't know
course.
like specifically. After this, I'm going to be like, oh, I could mention this, could have mentioned this, could have mentioned this. There's loads of different things, loads of scenes in the finale that, yeah, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing it being released because yeah, it'll be nice to see the final cut, getting to see how Luke's pieced it all together, and yeah, it certainly is going to be a banger. Certainly is.
Yeah, but no, it'll be fun.
It certainly will. So, Meg, are you ready for this debate question? Because it's an interesting one, and
Yeah.
obviously, just to make you aware as well that based on your answer, because Doctor Who fans, such on Twitter and all of that, they love hot takes, they love controversial opinions and stuff. So you'll be marked at the end of this podcast current run, which will be after this episode,
Ooh.
and if you are the winner, you could win a £50 Amazon voucher. So,
Oh, okay.
so Meg, my question for you is: there are many episodes of Doctor Who that are deemed unpopular, for whatever definition, by fans. Do you have any episodes that are deemed unpopular that you think are actually quite good to watch? If so, please explain why that episode is a good one to watch.
People don't like Asylum of the Daleks.
Okay.
I love Asylum of the Daleks
Okay, so Asylum of the Daleks, why is that a episode that you're willing to defend?
because it's good. Um, right, debate. Right. Um, I know people don't like it because of the whole concept of like the Daleks. I know that I know there's sort of the I'm saying all the bad stuff about it. I shouldn't be saying bad stuff. I'm not gonna win this answer about you. But I have a very like personal reasons why I kind of like it, I suppose. Because this is very similar to kind of Ten Left, how I like the fact that Rose and Donna being together. I know we have like Jenna who played obviously Oswin in that episode. And then that was a very well kept secret. So
Yeah, it
no one
was.
sort of knew. And then I think sort of watching that episode and her coming on screen, and I was like, it's proper jaw drop moment. And I was like, oh, wait, that's the new companion. I remember I used to live tweet episodes back then, so I used to just be like, oh my god, that's Jenna Coleman, that's Jenna Coleman, oh my god, what the hell is going on? And it was just I'd like the whole. I thought her storyline was really really clever, and I liked the whole concept of kind of it was sad. And it was just really clever the whole eggs stir minate thing,
Yeah.
and you're like, hang on, what? And it ends up with her being the Dalek and whatnot. It's a massive sort of twist, and it's clever. It's a way the Daleks. It's a Dalek episode that you haven't really done it like that before. Um, and I think I'm trying to justify it. I just like it.
I mean, that's completely fair as well.
I know sort of people, the Daleks in it. It was very different to kind of how you traditionally kind of seen the Daleks.
Yeah.
Because you have the whole bit at the start where the Daleks say like they haven't got emotion, things like that, but then late in the episode it kind of contradicts things like that. And when you don't think about plot holes in it, it's actually pretty good. But I'm not justifying this very well. I'm not gonna win this debate.
Well, you never know. I mean, I have seen more over the years that people do defend this episode. So I want to ask you, Meg, with the uh, addition of the Dalek Parliament, of the Dalek Law, how did you feel about that playing a role in the episode? You know, the fact that the Daleks, this Dalek Parliament was scared to go down to this planet to exterminate the insane Daleks.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of clever way of. I think why I also liked it because it had all the different Daleks in it as well,
Yeah.
like the whole special weapons Dalek, and when the scene of Rory going through, seeing the special weapons Dalek, and then that weird Harry Potter scar Dalek, which
Yeah.
is something. Um, but I think it makes it. I prefer that concept over having like a good Dalek, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
we sort of the whole Rusty in the Capaldi's era.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that,
No,
and like.
I get that.
And I like the Daleks are like these weird, wacky, crazy little killer machines. And like I guess Daleks are Daleks. They all kind of are the same shell, the same kind of thing. So the concept of having like insane ones that are kind of scared to go down is a bit strange, I suppose. I think I just like the whole kind of I don't know, experimental kind of aspect of it. Then I also it's just kind of funny that they went, yeah, we're not going down, that you are. Bye. But now I'm like, it's just for the episode, is it? Drama. But I don't know, the whole it is a bit strange having Daleks, the whole oh, Parliament kind of thing with Daleks, because they're kind of all the same kind of race. It makes them a bit more kind of individual. But I like the whole idea of having like insane Daleks and kind of it makes you want to go like, what are they doing? How did they how did they get there? Like, what went wrong? Or what the hell happened, essentially? Um, yeah.
No, that's again, you've made some good points, especially because yeah, as you said, it is an episode with some plot points. Well, some. But there were a few surprise factors in there. With Jenna Coleman appearing for the first time. There's a different character. And then you had some new inclusions, which again a bit more controversial, like the Dalek puppets, the eye stalk
Oh yeah.
people.
Oh yeah. And at the end of it as well, don't the Daleks basically forget who the Doctor is?
Yeah, that was quickly resolved though. I think it was in Time of the Doctor. I think it was resolved off screen, I think. Something like
Ah.
that. Yeah.
See, I think when I watch it, I just kind of ignore a lot of the plot
Yeah, that's completely fair.
and the
But
whole sort of Amy Rory's relationship being kind of rocky. It kind of
yeah.
came a bit out of the blue. Um, but I think when I used to watch like when I used to watch Doctor Who back then, I was like all about the companions and the characters and stuff like that. And I think kind of when I if I watch episodes that I don't people don't really I think I sort of found enjoyment in certain episodes that did have plot points or like plot holes or things like that, just because I like the characters. I was like, oh, this is cool. Look what this character is going for, what this is happening. But I guess if you rewatch it, you could really break that down and
Yeah,
kind of see the plot points and how kind of it is. And I think that also is down to kind of because we do the series and stuff, creating your own episodes and sort of writing content and stuff. You start to watch things with a more sort of cinema kind of mind and how the production's made and stuff.
yeah,
And I think it comes with like growing up as well. You kind of like, oh, that looks bad, or that doesn't make sense, or why did they do that? Or rather than sort of just like soaking it all in. So even when I think like back then, obviously I never used to watch it in that kind of view. So I think that's why I still like it because I can watch it like that because it has a bit of meaning for me. If that makes
yeah.
sense. Um, yeah, I like the episode. I
Well,
like Oswin making souffles in her own little world.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, Meg, like, yeah, you have kind of, yeah, you have explained why you enjoy the episode, and to be honest, yeah, you have made some really good points, especially when it comes to, like having a bunch of different Daleks on screen for the first time as well. First time, especially for the special weapons Dalek that we hadn't seen
Yeah,
in a long time before that point. And then the thing with Rory with the whole egg exterminate, it's kind of a bit of like a twist, like a dark comedy moment because it's like, okay, Dalek saying eggs, and then you're just like, oh, okay, let's run.
yeah, I did really like that concept, and I don't know, yeah, when obviously you got Osborne like with the whole eggs, minute with the whole making souffles and things like that, and then like it's all about the eggs, and then you like, I know it's just a play on words, but I was like, this is clever, and then you get the whole the Rory scene. I do really like, and I think I like Rory kind of being his own kind of character as well, and not just being this character that kind of follows Amy around. It's all about Amy. It's like him getting a bit more of like a himself
Yeah.
in it. I did. I think I did. Yeah, I do really like that about that episode. Yeah.
Well, thank you for answering the question. You have no, to be honest, you have done a really good job, and I know, yeah, something like Asylum of the Daleks, where yeah, there are plot holes, and it's kind of like, it's harder than the traditional unpopular episodes because episodes can be unpopular for a variety of reasons, like Love and Monsters, for example. But you have done a really solid job, so give yourself a pat on the back. You've won me over, but obviously it's the audience that decide your fate. So everyone that's watching this or listening to this, however you're consuming the podcast, let us know, what do you think of Meg's take on Asylum of the Daleks? Has that made you want to go and rewatch it? And or did you already think that it was a good episode? Let us know, and you could be the reason why Meg wins a shiny new £50 Amazon voucher.
Ooh,
So
like,
before,
I think as well.
it's okay.
With my sort of opinion on that, it kind of it sort of goes into the whole sort of people liking controversial episodes because
Yeah,
some of them have a bit of a charm to them, like Love and Monsters.
yeah,
It has a bit of a charm. You
it
can watch
does.
it, you can enjoy it in certain ways, and sometimes it's fun liking episodes that people hate as well.
Yeah,
Some people
of
get really
course.
like angry about it, different reasons, and I think it's why episodes that are or even eras or certain series that people don't like Scope 6, has a bit of a charm to it. Um, that's my final point.
No, again, a really good point as well. Because yeah, especially with online activity, yeah, people do often express why they don't like certain plot points and stuff like that, and you hear all that, and I guess it does affect your judgment a little bit. So when you end up rewatching something, you're like, okay, well, you know what, it's not as bad as
Enjoying it,
someone that's claiming that it nearly killed the show or something. It's
yeah, yeah, and I get like other people's opinions can kind of cloud how you or influence how you kind of view things as well. It's nice to sort of have your own kind of mindset as well of things.
yeah, yeah, it certainly is. But before we wrap up this episode, I've got a few questions lined up for you from some very eager audience members. So, are you ready
Yeah,
to get some questions thrown at you?
Hit me. Yeah.
All right. So the first one is from Troy, aka the Red Arch Alive.
Of course it is.
So Troy asked on Instagram, who was the best at karaoke and why was it him?
See, he wants me to say him, but the real answer is the person who sung "Baby, Baby, Baby." Oh,
Oh yeah, just the oh yeah.
oh. But like Troy just has he has a really good singing voice.
Yeah, he does. Like
He,
he
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 he killed that. He was really good. I was like, oh my God. But for the entertainment factor, it's Drunken Dan.
Drunken
And
Dan, yeah.
no one can say well.
Yeah, Drunken Dan and his music.
You're not me, my really bad super bass rap. It's definitely
Super big. No, that was a solid rendition. I actually enjoyed that.
thank you.
So, to move on to the next question, and this is from Doctor Who Figure 10 on Instagram. And they've asked, my question is, if you had a sonic screwdriver, what colours would you have it and what sound would it make?
Oh my God. Um, I've always loved River Sonic.
Okay.
Rivers is probably like my favorite. It's the only Sonic I own myself. Um, Orange. I like orange.
Okay.
Bright lights. Orange. What sound would it make? I don't know. A Sonic sound? What different ones do they have? I don't know. It would basically be a River Sonic copy at this point because I really like River Sonic. Something kind of not glass, but sort of looks sleek. That's very different from River Sonic. Something that looks sleek.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a
No,
terrible answer.
no, it's again, it's a one I'm certainly imagining in my head, and I think yeah, orange would be a good shout.
Yeah, orange. Yeah, no, I would like orange. I think God, Luke's a Sonic guy. I think he could probably like he literally has a million different designs in his brain probably all the time. If he could make a Sonic, he could probably just make a Sonic like that. He's got so many like different talents and things, like ways of doing things. Because obviously we got like Dom Sonic in the series, and obviously Luke's own Sonics, and he's making all the prop stuff. It's very tough. But if I designed one, it would probably be rubbish. I'd be like, Luke, do this for me. Do something cool. I want something cool. But yeah,
Oh,
I like
okay.
rubbish.
Well, that's a very interesting Sonic concept. And for the final question that I've got is from Docker, and he asks, "Why is it Meg like egg and not Megan like Tegan?"
Oh my God. Um, Funny thing about Docker, his name, my phone, is Dumbass that calls me Meeg because that's all he calls me. The answer is because what Meg like me. Say that again.
So he asks, "Why is it Meg like egg and not
Meg
Megan
like
like Tegan?"
not Megan like Tegan. That's why
Okay, okay, okay.
that's why he's the dumbass that calls me Meeg. It's not
Gotcha.
Megan. It's Meg. It's just boring Meg. So some people like um it's a stupid question. There is no answer other than Doc is a dumbass that calls me Meeg.
Oh, Doc, you're being called out, buddy. Well, that is certainly one to end it on. So, Meg, thank you so much for coming on today for recording the final episode of Series 1 of Just a Nerd.
No, thank you for asking me. It's been a pleasure.
It certainly has. And for those that are unaware of, what you do, would you mind telling them where they could find you and the stuff you're involved in?
Best place to find me is the fandom.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's called DW 2012, which stands for Dynamic Work 2012, which is the YouTube fan film series, Doctor Who fan film series that's currently in its fifth season. You can find DW 2012 on YouTube. Um, and I'm also, yeah, on all the socials as well. And then my own socials, it's just Meg underscore H underscore F. That's me. But the
And then,
Phantom series, go watch the Phantom series. It's great. Go
yeah,
into it.
especially before the finale, because it is going to be it's going to be a hot one.
Yeah.
It is going to be epic. So, for all you people that have been listening, thank you so much for all the support on the series and tuning in every time I've had a guest on and stuff like that. It really does mean the world to me. And yeah, go and show the DW 2012 lots some love. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thank you all for all the support. And yeah, goodbye for now.
Thank you.